The person who has been down there covering the Milagro and Meg Thee Stallion case, she's announced that the jury is in deliberation to figure out if Milagro Cooper will be held liable for defamation. Okay? Now, the jury got the case today after lunch, and they deliberated for seemingly at least over 3 hours. However, they are still unable to come up with a verdict. So there isn't a verdict from the jury whether Milagro Cooper will be liable for defamation, liable for deep fake, which is like, it's a new law, but it's almost like revenge porn, but it's like promoting deep fake material or whatever. And the other one is like harassment and cyberbullying. So it's like 3 counts. They have rested for the day, so they're going to go into the Thanksgiving weekend, and they're going to come back on Monday and hopefully have a decision, okay? Oh, wow. We're going to get to the David stuff because it looks like he's about to be charged quite soon. So it said the jury had a few questions after the judge gave them instructions already, and he said that the questions was asked about the deepfake video, which there's a Florida statute, which actually says, which Megan's lawyer told him in closing, it was a brand new law. The question was about where it applies, because Milagro's lawyer wanted to say it's specific to Florida, but Megan Stein's lawyer was saying, well, if she wasn't in Florida when she did it, it still could apply in Florida. And it was saying other states have similar laws. The judge actually told the jury, just rely on the instructions I gave you. Don't listen to the lawyers. Just listen to the instructions I gave you for the parameters on how you should interpret the law. The jury also asked, where was Meg when she saw the deepfake video? Now, it's a video of supposedly her being fucked, but it's a fake video. And she says she was in the back of her tour bus. She didn't say what state. And I think that's really operative, right? Like, if she was in Florida, it would kind of matter. The judge told the jury, just rely on your memory for the evidence. And they ate Jimmy John's. Like, this is a jury, people. God gangs, the family. Thank you for becoming a member, bro. Yeah, and the jury, they went home for the weekend. So there was no movement. They pretty much deliberated for 3 hours, and that was it. Okay, so I'll play what Megan Cuniff said. Here
Miami, where we still don't have a verdict in the Megan Thee Stallion versus Milagro Graham's defamation lawsuit. The jury went home this evening. They're going to be back Monday morning at 9 a.m. Jurors got the case about 10:30 a.m. They left about 4 p.m. They had lunch from Jimmy John's. They asked a few questions pretty early on. They wanted to identify some specific exhibits. I didn't catch which exhibits. They also asked about this new Florida statute that one of the claims was brought under, the claim that makes it illegal to knowingly promote a sexually explicit, digitally altered depiction of someone. And that is the deepfake video that Milagro told people to watch and promoted of Megan. They wanted to know where that law applies. And judge just ended up telling them, please rely on the instructions that I have given you.
Now, based on even that question, I think Milagro might get found liable for that, even though there's many other mitigating factors. Like, for example, she didn't tweet it out directly. She told people to go look at her likes, but she liked something that linked to it. And, there's other mitigating factors, like supposedly when she saw the deepfake video, there was some either blurring or altered version that didn't make it sexually explicit. So the one she kind of alluded to wasn't sexually explicit, and the law kind of specifically says it's against sexually explicit, altered, fake videos. So there's a few things that I think not only the judge had to clarify, but the jury has to interpret, and that's why, they're coming back with questions. Now, I do think there's a possibility that she gets found liable for that, right? Now, that is something, honestly, I don't really have a horse in a race with that particular thing. I think the main thing that I think most people care about is the defamation, right? Is calling Meg Thee Stallion a liar when you have seen her lie. Is that defamation? Do you have to suck up to someone because they have Rock Nation lawyers that could file lawsuits? And I think that's what the whole entire media pool, the new media pool, is trying to figure out. Let me see. Was there other videos earlier today? By the way, there was an instruction about the deleting of evidence. Apparently, Milagro deleted, they're calling it 20,000, messages or communications. And apparently the judge made a ruling about that, or not ruling, but an instruction to the jury saying a party to a lawsuit such a defendant has a legal duty to retain and preserve paper and electronic communications and other documents concerning the case. These include, among other things, all electronically stored information in one's possession, custody, or control, such as emails, text messages, and communications stored on an application on one's phone. The day before the plaintiff filed this lawsuit, her attorneys formally notified the defendant that the plaintiff was going to file, and she had these retention and preservation duties. Despite this written notice, these underlying legal duties, defendant deleted thousands of text messages and removed WhatsApp from her phone that potentially contained messages and chats. In reaching your verdict, you should assume and infer that defendant intend to deprive the plaintiff of evidence in deleted messages and chats, that at least some of the deleted messages related to the claims in this case were about the plaintiffs, and that these deleted messages were unfavorable to the defendant. So the judge is saying, we can't recover the messages, but assume that the messages probably weren't good. Okay. Let me see. The judge didn't read any messages about Tory, who did not testify in this case. But the reason why he didn't testify, it wasn't part of this case at all, is because when he was deposed, and they tried to depose him like 3 times, the third time he told him to suck his dick, and he eventually got held in contempt with a $20,000 fine. Okay, so he didn't participate at all in this trial. Okay. All right. Cool. Let me see if there's any more video. Oh, this is the jury deliberation. Like, their sheet they're gonna have to fill out. It says, question 1, do you find by preponderance of the evidence that Ms. Cooper defamed Ms. Pete? Preponderance of the evidence, and I'll show you what that means. Let me use a different tab for now. Preponderance of evidence. It says more likely true than not. So that's all they have to prove. So it's not beyond reasonable doubt. Preponderance means, again, if you have to go in one way or the other, did they do it? Did they not do it? Which way do you lean in? And even if it's 51% on this side, you just go this side, right? So that's what that is. Do you think that Ms. Cooper defamed her by accusing her of perjury? Okay, by the way, Rock Nation tried to set me up in a deposition. Trust me, they did. When they asked me, and they said, they asked me in the second deposition, because I literally schooled them rookie lawyers like it was no business. When they asked me, do I believe Meg Thee Stallion committed perjury? And I said, well, the idea of perjury is a decision or a thing that the DA should file. It's not upon me to say that she committed perjury. And they keep in mind, this is what they're suing Milagro for. So if they asked me about this in a deposition, they were trying to get me on it too. Let me see if I think I have an excerpt of it. They're trying to get me on this too, but come on, man. That boy from Jamaica a little bit too wise feeling it, isn't it? So look at them. Remember, they're suing Milagro for basically saying Meg committed perjury, right? Now, this is 2 different things. Meg Thee Stallion lied. She lied on a Gayle King interview. Did she lie on the stand? The thing is, by saying that, if you're claiming you're either a news outlet or someone with influence, is basically saying she committed a crime. That's like saying, obviously, way different extreme, but it's like saying someone R-worded someone when that's a crime. Like if you accuse someone of a crime and they didn't commit such crime, or you have no proof of them committing such crime, you could be legally held liable, right? So perjury is a crime, right? And you're gonna hear like these nimwits who are the attorneys for Meg Thee Stallion. They try to get me to claim that Meg committed perjury, which would be a crime, which would mean I'm accusing her of a crime. And if I have no proof about it, that could be detrimental to her and she could sue me. They tried it with me. It just didn't work. Check it out. Wait, why is it not playing here?
After she testified to all of that, at the end of the day, the jury determined that there was sufficient evidence to convict Mr. Lanes, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Which is to say that the jury believed her, right?
Yeah, well.
Objection as to form.
I would imagine they believed her. I don't know if did we do a polling of all these jurors? I mean, they voted overall.
Hold on, Mr. Allen. I think you and I already discussed that the jury came to their decision unanimously, right?
Yeah, but the decision that they came to was that Tori's guilty, not that they believe Meg Thee Stallion and everything she said on the stand. Like, was there a verdict on that? We don't know. I'm just saying I don't believe that chick at all.
Yes, it's called a guilty verdict for him having shot her. That is the verdict that they came to, right?
But that's not necessarily mean they agreed with everything of her testimony. There was times she didn't remember things. It doesn't mean they agreed with everything she said. They agree with what the prosecutor alleges, but that's not necessarily means that a guilty verdict doesn't mean I've seen many imperfect witnesses who get things wrong, maybe not be forthcoming on the stand, and they still get the favorable verdict. The verdict got nothing to do with Meg. The chick's a liar. Like, that's point blank period. I don't know,
You believe that the verdict had nothing to do with the victim's testimony that she was shot by Tory Lanez.
Ma'am.
Objection as before.
Ma'am, you're cleverly but not cleverly trying to make me say something I'm not saying. So I'll state it on the record unequivocally. The jury believes that Tory shot Meg. The jury, from what I know, did not issue any statement, vote, or any opinion that they believed everything Meg said. Is one of the things Meg said that Tory shot her? Yes. So they believe that. However, the reason why I don't believe Meg in totality is that once I've deemed you as a liar, listen, they say don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. I kind of throw everything you got to say. I don't want to hear nothing. Don't tell me the sky's blue. I got to go check for myself. You're a liar. So that's my perspective. So if Meg told me today, hey, listen, it's raining outside, I'd be like, give me a second, and I would go outside and go look. And I'd be like, you're right. That's just my opinion. Schooled him. No, I think it's the other clip though. Joe, I ain't gonna lie.
Just personally hold and keep to yourself, right?
I've said this anywhere I've ever been and asked them.
Right, you say it basically anywhere you've ever been, and as loudly.
And by the way, I'm trying to show you how in the deposition, and I had no lawyer, they were trying to set me up that I could make a claim that they could try to sue me. You get what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Come on.
Publicly as you can, correct?
Yeah, if I'm speaking my personal opinion, yeah, of course.
Okay, and just so that I'm clear, you were not present on June 12th, 2020 when Miss Pete was shot, right?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't at the party, correct?
No.
You weren't in the car, right? You weren't on the street, correct?
No.
You weren't a witness at all whatsoever, right?
I was not.
So you couldn't actually say that you knew that Tory did not shoot Miss Pete because you weren't present, right?
Yeah, I'm not unequivocally saying that it didn't happen. What I'm saying is,
I'm sorry. Hold on. Start again because there was something I didn't hear clearly. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say, 100%. This is the fact. I'm telling you my personal opinion and my belief. That chick is a liar, and I don't believe liars. So, her story, again, I accept the verdict. I accept all of this stuff. I don't accept a liar. I think she's a liar. She was a liar then. She's a liar now. She's going to be a liar tomorrow. And, yeah, that's it.
Do you believe she perjured herself on the stand?
Bingo. This is how they try to set me up, chat. Do you believe she perjured herself on the stand? Now, you're going to watch this little rookie over here, and she's getting paid $5,000 an hour, right? We calculated her little salary. Well, not little, because she's getting paid a lot. She's trying to get me into the trick bag. Let's look at what Milagro is getting sued for. You accuse her of perjury. Remember, this is where you're going to see a sleight of hand, and this is why I say I school them lawyers. Because I say Meg is a liar. I say Meg has lied. It's like basically saying, if you say somebody's a creep versus he R-worded her, two different things. One is a actual crime. One is open to interpretation. What do you mean by creepy? He's creepy. Okay. He's weird. Okay. When you said, oh, that nigga is a R word, a ist. When you say that person is that is a act, and that is a person who have committed a criminal act. So if you have no proof that that person has committed that criminal act, you are now not only lying or you're basically defaming someone without proof. So they were trying to get me to accuse Meg of perjury. And I said, no. Perjury is left up to the DAs. I'm not a DA. I'm just a guy with an opinion. Meg is a liar. I could call her a liar. They said, but no, we're talking about perjury. Then they try to catch me. They said, well, perjury is lying. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, lying is a part of what perjury is, but the idea of perjuring yourself, the onus on that and the totality of that depends on the district attorney, the case that they're delivering, and the question being asked and how the context is. I'm good. You ain't gonna catch me on some legal snafu like that. So watch. They're trying to bring up perjury because I'm calling her a liar. They can't tell me calling her a liar is out of bounds. So they're trying to get me in the legal snafu. Oh, so you said she perjured herself, right? So you think she perjured herself? They're naming a crime. Lying is not a crime. Perjury is a crime.
At the criminal trial? Is that what you said?
I wouldn't know. That would be something the prosecutors would have to answer, but that, we've rarely seen.
Just personally hold and keep to your.
Okay. And the longer version, and I'm going to drop the whole version soon, as soon as this shit wraps. They try to get me to accuse Meg. This is how slimy they are. They had no case, bro. They try to get me to accuse Meg of perjury. And I had to slither out of that because I think she has lied. They want me to accuse her of an actual crime. Like, they would want me to say she falsified a police report or that she perjured herself or she did something that's criminal, because those are things you could latch onto and put a real defamation case. You can't try to get a defamation case on someone's opinion. My opinion, she's a liar. Why do I think she's a liar? She lied on Gayle King. Keep saying, right? You're not going to get far in a lawsuit with that. So how did they go at Milagro? They said, they said she defamed her. How did she defame Meg Thee Stallion? By accusing her of perjury. You see how they try to get me? Skedaddle out of that. You feel me? Which is a felony. You see? You see how they try to get me? They wanted me to say, so since you say she lied, you think she perjured herself? Whoa. That's a big boy decision. You got to ask the DA. I wouldn't know about that one. So it says accusing her of perjury, which is a felony by lying on her oath. So that's one of the things that's in the count of defamation. And count one. Count two, do you find by the preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper provides disinterested and neutral commentary rather than advocacy for a particular client or personal interest? So they're basically saying, do they think that she's working for Tory Lanez? Regardless of your answer to question two. They said if your answer to question one is yes, continue to question two. If the answer is two, go to count two. Do you see what that is? So essentially, chat, I need y'all to understand this. The only defamation Meg Thee Stallion is claiming is that Milagro claims she committed perjury, which is a felony. They asked me in my deposition if I thought that, and without no lawyer, I spanked him that like that little Jamaican boy gonna do every single time. No lawyer, no nothing. No lawyer, no nothing. Hold on now. I see this. Come on, man. Y'all quit Emmanuel people gotta get. Come on, keep billing Meg Thee Stallion, but you ain't gonna get over it on here. So the whole defamation count, which I really only care about this count, it's built off, do you think that she defamed her by accusing her of perjury? Wow. So it says, if you answer yes, go to question two. If you say no, right? If you say no, just skip this count entirely. Okay? And go to count two, which is the promotion of an altered sexual depiction. Okay? And you'll find there's question 14. No, this is a jury questionnaire, I believe. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Okay. All right. Okay, question 4. Do you find by the preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper impartially disseminates information and rather than act blah, 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 blah? Regardless of your answer, go to question 5. 5. Do you find blah, blah, blah operates for the purpose of informing matters of the public through the news report, blah, blah? Regardless of this, go to question 6. And they basically continue, and it says regardless of your answer to 8, proceed to count 2. And this is count 2. Okay, so it has a bunch of questions, and it tells you if you say no, just skip. But if you say yes, go to the next question, right? So if they don't feel that Milagro defamed Meg Thee Stallion by accusing her of perjury, they could skip this entire count. So count 1 defamation would be essentially thrown out. Then they would go to count 2, which is create the promotion of an altered sexual depiction. So do you find by blah, blah, that she willfully and maliciously promoted this without her consent, a visual depiction of her that she knew or reasonably knew was an altered sexual depiction. Now, the reason why I think Milagro has a chance to beat this is that even if she did willfully and maliciously promoted this image, right? There is a possibility she didn't know or reasonably didn't know that it was altered. AI wasn't that popular back then. Deepfake is a product of what AI is. And back then, deepfake was really new. So maybe she could pass on that, right? So, and if she beats this charge, it would be because she has convinced the jury that she didn't know it was fake, right? She thought it was actually real. Okay? Let's keep it going. Count 3, intentional infliction of emotional distress, right? Do you find by preponderance of evidence that Ms. Cooper intentionally or recklessly engaged in extreme or outrageous conduct towards Ms. P? Now, this is supposed to be like, this is like bullying, right? It says if the answer is yes, go to the next question. If it's no, skip the remaining question and just go to damages, right? So they would have to say yes or no. And this is going to hinge on Milagro had 40,000 followers. You got 12 million. There's mad other outlets that's covering this. Drake is making a song about it. Nicki Minaj called you Bigfoot. Everybody's dissing you left, right, and center. Other media pages and other people with big Twitter pages are tweeting this and laughing at you. How come all of your emotional damage is only coming from one woman? Now, that's going to hinge, in my opinion, on if Meg documented it. Around that time, did she go to a therapist? Did she send an email to like Desiree and them like, yo, this girl is stressing me out. I can't work. I can't think. I can't whatever. That's possible, right? But if she just came back after the fact and she's like, oh, yeah, I've had a lot of trauma from, people making fun of me. And I'm just going to pick one person on some needle out the haystack shit. And it's Milagro. That's going to look crazy, right? So those are the 3 counts, right? Those are the 3 counts. And here's the damages. How much do you award? How much do you award for this? And yeah, we will see. So Monday we'll get that. We'll get that. I think Monday. All right. Perfect. Let's move on. You see how Rock Nation try to line me? You see how they try to line me, chat?